Colbert, Kimmel, Fallon, the kind of failing late-night TV hosts that boast every single day about their cultural influence, and yet it is going away. Late-night TV is in collapse, and today we have the breaking news that CBS at last has decided they're going to cut some of their late-night TV broadcast because ratings are crashing and there is no stashing of additional hope, where now the studio execs can only cope. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we continue to travel through telling the truth about entertainment. Keeping you ahead of the culture curve is what we do, and we love what we do. We hope you do too. If so, consider clicking the like button. And today we're going to show you exclusively the ratings are falling. Yes, they're falling. And now studio execs are calling for an end to parts of late night television. Colbert, Kimmel, Fallon in trouble. Gutfeld winning. No spinning that. Let's get started. Video of excellence right now. All right, folks, take a look at this. It's out of thatparkplace.com, the website that if you're not yet bookmarked, well, you should be. It looks like the FCC is bookmarked there as well. This one is by me, so well, you can imagine why I selected it. How about that? Little opinionated this time? Maybe. CBS eliminates a late night show. Colbert, Kimmel, and Fallon collapse in ratings while Gutfeld shines. And you might say out there, ladies and gentlemen, well, Pro's got favoritism. He's picking his own articles now. Well, yes, on the one hand, but on the other hand, Marvin Montanaro, editor-in-chief, spiffied this one up for me quite a bit and greatly appreciate his editorial oversight on it. Thank you, Marvin.
You're very welcome.
All right, and including that image down below, that's hideous. It says, late night television, once a cornerstone of American entertainment, is experiencing a significant decline. Now with the elimination of one of CBS programs after midnight with Taylor Tomlinson, the collapse is beginning. And I'll just pause here to say that a lot of times we cover things that are in development here on the Pro Channel. And so we'll tell you, hey, this is a real problem for Disney. It's going to be a real problem for Disney for years and years and years. And then people say a week later, hey, Pro, you said this was going to be a big problem, and it's not a big problem. Which, by the way, is not a criticism we're receiving in tremendous numbers now after Snow White, because, well, there's the proof in the pudding, eh? There's more proof than there is pudding, honestly. But in this case, we have been hammering the late night shows and the ratings collapse. And people have said, yeah, but they're still on TV. Colbert's not going anywhere. Kimmel's still there, Pro. Well. As opposed to replacing the PM comedy talk show format, CBS is opting to just trim the fat. Less hours of late night is the new norm, and it could be going all the way to goodbye for the genre that Johnny Carson largely built. Now, to explain this, they had a show called After Midnight on CBS. It comes on after Colbert. But guess what? It's nowhere to be found because they canceled it, and they decided, hey, instead of doing this late night show that comes on after Colbert, how about we just not do anything? And that's what they did. Now, why would they be doing that? Well, let's take a look at it. Flagship late night shows have seen substantial drops in their audiences. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, for instance, experienced a 32% decrease in viewership, with numbers falling from 3.81 million to approximately 2.6 million, if I can talk, over 5 years. By the way, it's way down this year. They're struggling to hit 2 million, period. Similarly, NBC's The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, and ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live have faced declines, with Fallon's show so badly off that it's reducing its weekly schedule from 5 to 4 nights due to falling ratings. The 12:35 a.m. slot has not been immune. Seth Meyers is down 32%. And of course, as you know, After Midnight is gone. They eliminated it. It's out of here. The only thing that's going well, folks, and you can read the article to find this out, Gutfeld. And my synopsis on that, my prognosis as to what's going on and what the other networks might consider doing, Gutfeld gets the entire slice of the conservative pie. And all these other wackadoodles, they're chasing after the lefty bubble that has burst. And here's what I would suggest. Hey, networks, why don't you try going to the middle again? Why don't you try Leno? Why don't you try Letterman? Why don't you try Conan? Why don't you try Craig Ferguson? Why don't you try Johnny Carson? Why don't you try making Americans laugh? But I don't think they're going to do that, and that's why late night might not last. Panel, What say you? We'll go to culture first because he is the king of understanding what's going on in the cultural zeitgeist around us. Culture? Is late night going away, and has it been sacrificed on the altar of wokeism?
I would say that most of these shows are suffering from a lack of quality writing with the inability to see beyond a myopic viewpoint. I think you're right in that, in that regard. As far as it will disappear, I don't know that they can afford to have, at least one of the networks not have at least one late night show, one adult entertainment show in the evening, because they have to sell that advertising. And that advertising is it's about 20% of that advertising is big pharma and other, adult-oriented products that really drive their revenues home. It's also the tail end of prime time, and they need that to work. So I don't think it'll go away. I think the shows will change, if not the hosts themselves. I think Taylor Tomlinson, who I actually find very humorous, suffered from a couple of problems. One, she followed Colbert and also seemed to have used some of his political opinions to, govern her show, which is why she's going back on tour, which was the excuse used to get rid of that. And I think the shows that are after the primary shows are the ones that are going to be gone. I think if you were to bring back Ferguson, I think you'd have a win. And again, it's the hosts that are currently in place and their writing teams and their producers that are keeping these things, from changing, from going back to the center of the aisle. Overall, I think you're right. Your instinct is right. Many of the following shows, the super late, after midnight, whatever they are, kind of shows will fall out to the wayside because, well, you can fill that with reruns of MASH or something. I don't know, but you probably should do that. You probably do better on television. And the other thing is, this reminds me of one of the reasons why I think the new network idea, like the CW, for example, kind of went away. They just ran out of people interested in their shows. They ran out of people that had money to, consume the advertisement and go out and buy stuff. And you can't do that in this market with the cultural pivot that we saw in real time that they're still trying to hold back the water on. They're gonna have to adapt or they will die.
So we're already seeing the death happen, right? So when you see some of these shows cut down to 4 episodes, by the way, last week Colbert was completely pre-taped. They were reruns. And you're seeing that more and more. There is far more vacation time now for the late night host because it costs the network less to just run reruns. The problem is the ratings are falling, but the ratings are already so far down that the networks don't care. So panel, what say you? Do you see this as sort of the first domino of many? I mean, could we see Seth Meyers going somewhere else, being moved out completely? And let me ask this, of the 3, because Gutfeld's not going anywhere. He's dominating on a cable channel, right? So of the 3 on the networks, Colbert, Kimmel, Fallon, which one is the most likely to be the first of the big 3 to go off air?
Fallon.
Why?
I think of all of them, he's probably the weakest link. And I mean, in terms of quality, he is the most unfunny man that has ever actually appeared on the face of the planet. I feel like a group of not funny, sages gathered at the top of Mount Sirius to profess his birth. He is the epitome of not funny. But I think Colbert and Kimmel are a little too ingrained into the system to actually end up losing their cushy gigs, especially Colbert and Kimmel for sure.
Let me push back. You tell me what you think about it. All right, sure. For the fun of the conversation, at least, I think Disney wants to be separated from Kimmel, and I think that the fact he was not allowed to host again, and they went with an older host, Conan O'Brien, at the Oscars. I think that it's a sign that Kimmel has he's past his prime. Now, Colbert, I don't know what to think about Colbert because CBS is an absolute cluster muck, M-U-C-K, cluster muck over at CBS. So I don't know what. But here's what I would suggest on Fallon, right? You might be right, Marvin, and the reason you would be right is because Fallon is essentially Kimmel and Colbert light. And that means that he dabbles in what they do, but what they do is they go crazy far to the left. And then he dabbles in that just enough that the moderates don't want to watch him, which The moderates are the majority of the country, right? So you've got a point there. But in the same vein, I think Fallon might just hang on by his fingernails long enough that Disney gets rid of Kimmel, because I don't think they want to renew him. I think he's venomous, and he's not funny. Like Colbert at least smiles. I don't think Kimmel smiles anymore. He's just
Kimmel doesn't smile; he smirks.
Yes,
he cries as well.
He smirks and cries and looks smug.
Yeah, I mean, he's very accomplished at those. But I would agree. I think Kimmel's the most toxic of them all. In Fallon, why does NBC have to do anything with him? He doesn't offend anybody. He just kind of is there, right? I mean, and what would they do with that ride, Marvin? What would they do with that ride?
Well, that was the dumbest. That was dumb and a half, giving him a ride in Universal. It is the only ride I've ever actually gotten sick on. And I think it was partly because it's just a terrible ride, and just partly because like people being aggressively not funny makes me physically ill.
Well,
if people don't already know, Jimmy Fallon has his own ride at Universal Studios Florida, and he's the host of the studio tour at Universal Studios Hollywood. Go ahead, Culture.
No, that's true. He's not but see, here's the problem. He's not a comedian in the strictest sense. He does comedic things. And he is a personality more than he's anything else, which is why he does the little dancing bits, and he's always got that I want to please you kind of performance with everybody around him. You know, he exudes the feeling of I feel completely inadequate and an imposter at all times. That's him. That's what you get with this guy, right? You know, and that's why, and he always defers to his guests. You know, instead of standing on equal ground, he's milquetoast beta, dish rag.
His comedy boils down to I'm going to get the cast of a '90s show together, and they're going to stand on the set together, and I'm going to be there with them. Yeah. Give me ratings. I was in the 30 Rock building one time in Rockefeller Center. And I was in the gift shop looking at some Seinfeld mugs or something like that. And some lady comes up to me and she goes, "Would you like to come see a taping of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon?" I said, "No." And then she goes, "Oh, are you sure? Because like it's really fun." I said, "Ma'am, there is nothing that you can say to me right now that will get me to walk through that door."
Fallon is genuinely unfunny. I've never really laughed at any of his jokes. He wasn't even that great on SNL, to be honest with you, back in those days. But I think what set Fallon apart was that he wasn't in this political fray for so long. He kind of abstained from that, and really he kind of had his gimmicks with the celebrities that would come on. He has games and so forth. That kind of kept him relevant. As I think Fallon drifted away from that, I think his weaknesses really started to be emphasized there. So, yeah, I can see Fallon, but I do also agree with Pro that, Kimmel has become, I think, toxic for the brand. Maybe they want to separate from that as well. We'll see.
Well, let me toss it over to Nolan. I got a question for you, Nolan, because one of the interesting things about late night and comedy and all of that, there has been such a disdain for putting anybody out there to be comedic or have fun or laugh. We haven't had many comedy movies. We don't have many funny shows. They constantly tell us that stuff like The Office you can never put back on TV, and then you say, well, why not? And they say, oh, well, it's too offensive. Same thing with Tropic Thunder, etc. Nolan, at this point, if they get rid of these guys, I don't even know who would replace them. Like, I can't go to SNL and find anybody there that I think, oh, that's a funny person. Like, there's nobody that I can look at and say, this is obvious to me, the next cream of the crop when it comes to comedians. So it may be that they killed the jester and they killed the joke and they killed late night with woke.
I don't know, Pro. I'd have to disagree because I think there's jesters aplenty. I mean, they could just replace them with a bunch of politicians. I think that could work.
Oh, well played, Nolan. Panelists, is there anybody funny that's young that could come in and do this now that's really out there in the spotlight?
Matt Rife.
Who's Matt Rife? Tell us about Matt Rife.
Matt Rife's one of the funniest crowd work comedians that you will ever go and see. Now, he's a little on the edge, and he'd definitely have to dial it back, but Matt Rife he's cutting edge. He's young. He's attractive. The ladies love the pants off of him, try to get the pants off of him. He's
Whoa!
just great. There he is.
Yeah, but he would not.
Wonderful.
He's not a late night. He would not do good hosting a late night show. Keep him on. Keep him doing stand up. Don't put him in movies. Don't put him in TV. He is amazing at stand up, and he is entirely too controversial for a network to ever trust him with a late night show.
Once upon a time, somebody said the same thing about Eddie Murphy. Somebody said, hey, don't take him out of stand up. He's just too good there. And guess what? Now he's telling people for the fifth time in a row, that's a nice boulder. That's a nice boulder.
I could see, not that he's funny enough for it, but I could see them doing it. I could see, here's Keenan.
Keenan Thompson?
Yeah.
Can we get Kel? Can we get Kel as the as his Ed McMahon?
If they did, I'd watch it.
Me too. Me too.
Hey,
All right, folks, we fixed it.
bring back Arsenio Hall.
What's Arsenio up to these days?
I don't know.
Let's get okay. We got it. Keenan and Kel and Arsenio leads the band. We good? Dear somebody, some executive somewhere, we fixed it for you. And yes, we'd like the snake cut back. Thank you so much.
And it's diverse. I mean, I'm just saying, late night, very white, right, Hollywood?
Ferguson is one of the best. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. And I don't know why they stuck him. They put him in a bad spot. Let's just put it that way. Maybe that was so he could be more risque, but I mean, I just, like I said, there's no need for these extra late night shows. And I don't think, I'm going to say this, I'm going to get booed like Jonas does for his opinion on Short Circuit. I don't think we need any of these late night shows anymore.
Well, take that late night. And I think
Not
you're
to
right.
mention the funniest people these days, I'm going to be real here, are on YouTube. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think people would much rather see, like, I don't know, Critical Drinker or someone
Yeah.
hosting a late night show as opposed
Yep.
to random comedian on Netflix number 5 you've never even heard of.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. You would get an actual real conversation with your guest, right? None of this pre-scripted baloney sausage, none of the, politically driven stuff. Because I assure you, you would have Drinker trying to talk in depth about a film with somebody and actually get some real sound bites, some real substance out of it.
So is it a formatting issue?
No, it's a people issue. Do you know how big the staff is for most of these shows?
Oh, massive.
I mean, just the
Unsustainable.
writer's room alone.
In the writer's room, at least 24.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting close to 30 in some of these writers' rooms. Sometimes I've heard even higher. It depends. And look, you're already writing a check to, Mr. Unfunny Smug pain in the butt guy. And I'm sorry, the Disney guy is just a pain. I just hate
Kimmel?
that guy. Yeah, just hate him.
See, Kimmel, it burns me a bit more than the other ones because Kimmel was funny at one point. Like the Man Show was funny. Kimmel was really funny on a lot of the
Corolla,
Comedy
dude.
Central roasts that came in the past. Pamela Anderson roast, Flavor Flav roast. He killed on those roasts. So he's the one where I'm like, okay, he knows how to be funny and he's purposely not being funny. Whereas Jimmy Fallon has just never been funny. I think that's worse.
Yeah, I still think the Man Show is Corolla primarily. But, and again, if you want to bring back something late night or funny, bring back the Man Show with Corolla and a better funny person, not his old pal. Bring back.
There you go,
something
folks.
funny.
That's the solution to the disaster at late night. Not sure how much longer it's going to last, but we'll be here to cover it as it declines faster, and beyond. Good night, game over, drive home safely. Folks, this video is done. But before we all head home, we only ask one thing. Folks, as you get ready to head on out, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and share your thoughts, for a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Waste not that beautiful personality of yours. And folks, we would say as you get ready to head out the door, that it has been an honor to spend time with you, an attitude of gratitude each and every time that you elect to join together with us. Breaking bread and breaking entertainment, well, the industry. No, we like entertainment. It's the industry that irks us sometimes. Well, it was a good time. We hope you had a good time. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Well, you see, I wanted to get some inside scoops on Disney and their different corporations, if you know what I mean. So I figured by looking into this fistbowl and sucking it randomly with my own energy that I pay for, you paid for, I could do the whole experience where you can be a master and spy on your targets.
You're an idiot. If you want to get the inside scoop on Disney or even other media organizations, you should check out thatparkplace.com and subscribe to WDW Pro's YouTube channel. That'd be way easier, more accurate, and less dumb.
Are you saying I won't get accurate information this way?
No, you can't.
Who'd have think?